Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Priyanka and in this video I'm going to tell you all about my experience of Hamta Pass trek. So first of all, let me tell you I am not an expert in trekking. I have just begun my trekking journey and I really love to trek and explore the mountains. So this was one of the trek that I chose, but little did I know what I was signing up for. I have done very small treks before here around. I stay in Bangalore, so near and around Bangalore, I have done a few treks which are very small, like about maximum I have done a 4 kilometer trek. इसके बाद I have not done any other treks, okay, the longer ones at all. And I don't know if I was prepared also to be going to Hamta Pass trek. I did the trek last year. It was a difficult trek for me. Not difficult, I would say it was not beginner level at all. In this video, I'm gonna just tell you about all the details where I booked from and how was the trek, what are the essentials that you have to carry during the trek, how it will be the weather conditions there in each of the campsites. So let me take you through all of the journey that I had. Subscribe to the channel and let's get started. So first of all, I did the booking from. I've just got a random ad on Instagram about Hamta Pass trek when the season starts. Usually the season starts from mid of the June and it goes up to August until almost the last week of August. So these are the seasons where it is most preferable to go on Hamta Pass trek, and it is open during this season only. During these seasons, the ice is again melting off from the mountains, so that is why this season is the most preferred one. I did my booking from a random ad that I got on Instagram. I just contacted them, asked them about all the details. So I don't remember the trekking company right now, but I'll just try to mention it over here from with which I went to the trek. So I just asked them properly, like what is the kind of trek, what is the difficulty level, and all they said was, मैम ये तो बहुत इजी लेवल का ट्रैक है, आप कर सकते हो, अगर आपको कोई ब्रीदिंग इश्यूज नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, आप फिजिकली फिट हो तो आप कर सकते हो ये ट्रैक. सो दैट इज़ वाई आई जस्ट वेंट अहेड, बुकड इट, and I just asked them all the details. I stay in Bangalore, so I took the flight from Bangalore to Delhi. From Delhi, they had arranged a bus for us, like it was a semi-sleeper bus. So we traveled from Delhi to Chandigarh and then to Manali. I went to Manali for the first time and it was just amazing place. And I recently visited Manali again to see it during the snow season. So again it was incredible. So it has become like my favorite place in India and I can visit it multiple times. So we reached to Manali, we went to the location that they had mentioned and we went there and we realized that we were not the only one there, as in there were uh, people that had booked from different trekking companies and they all came under one of the guide. So that was the thing. Then we were like, okay, but they had booked it for a different, slightly higher or lower price than what we had booked. I had booked the package for 5,000 rupees. Some of them had booked it for 4,500. Some of them had booked for 6,500 or 7,000. This cost is for total of 5 days. 4 nights you're gonna stay, and fifth day you're gonna return back. So I feel the charges and everything was very affordable, and there are other companies that were charging too high as well. So this was the one that I found, and they had all the inclusions in it, like the stay, campsite stay, food of 3 times, and a one-time snack, including the guide. The thing that we wanted to take extra was trekking shoes, pole, and the raincoat, like the poncho that we need. You can take a tiffin box if you have not already bought it. You can also take a tiffin box from them. I'll tell you about that in the essentials video. So this was all the inclusions. But make sure that you don't get any network over there. It's all in the hills. You are not gonna have any network for straight 5 days. Now coming to day one. So when we reached to Manali, from that day itself, the trekking was gonna start. We were going from Jobra to Chika. Chika was our first campsite. We left from there by a tempo traveler, and it was just a curvy ghat section road where they took us to the top of the mountain, and that was Jobra. And from there, we started the trek. So our guide informed us like what all you have to do, and what I will tell you, and how you have to react to that, what all precautions we should take. He told all of that, and we were like, okay, fine, cool, it's just a trek. And the first major turning point for me was, there was a mountain here, okay, like the mountain starts, there's no path on the mountain, it's just hill. Okay, I just stones, rocks, big trees and everything. Beside that there is a uh, road. Okay, so I thought like, okay, maybe he's starting. He told us to tie on our shoes tightly, everything. So we just wore the shoes, took our pole, and we were all ready. He was like, okay, guys, let's go. And he climbed on the mountain. I was stunned there itself. I'm like, where is he going? Like, the path is here, and he's just climbed the mountain. And I was like, okay, fine, let's go. So we just that is how it started. And it had rained that time, so it was quite slippery, but the shoes are the main thing. Okay, so they kept us the grip. So we just went on. We went to the first campsite, Chica, where we stayed, and it was a smooth one. It's not very difficult, you can do it, but yeah, it was a little tiring, I can say, and I will tell you the reason why. Yeah, we reached Shika. That was our first campsite, and it was quite good, pleasant. You'll see all the, lush greenery all over. The valleys are so beautiful. You'll see horses there, the river that is flowing non-stop. You'll cross a bridge as well, which is a wooden bridge. It's really good experience. So yeah, you'll reach Chica at the first camp. You'll be getting lunch over there and dinner and snacks. So next day morning again we have to get ready early. I think about 6 o'clock we had gotten ready, and then we left for Baluka Ghera. That was a quite a long trail. So again we used to leave early because our guide told us like, जल्दी निकलेंगे तो we'll be getting there earlier and we can avoid the rains as well. So that's why we used to go early to avoid the rains, because in rains trekking in that terrain and trail is so difficult, because all you have to do is climb the rocks. You don't have any stairs over there, you have to just climb the rocks. Okay, rocks. And there are plain lands, but little, when there are not a lot of plain lands. But while going from Chika to Baluka Khera, you will get, I think, 2 or 3 times you will get a plain land for some distance. But yeah, that was a good one. But Baluka Ghera is again at a higher altitude, about 12,000 feet altitude. So that it was quite cold over there. And yeah, but when you reach Baluka Ghera, you'll actually realize how difficult the trek is. It's not a easy trek. So you'll realize that, when I reached Baluka Ghera, I was literally in shock, and I was like really upset, and I was rethinking my decision of coming to this place. So one more thing is, when I went last year, if you want to go back down, if you want to go back, make sure you go back from Chika itself, because you have to go alone. Nobody is going to accompany you. So and there are no horses to carry you back down. So and coming back alone is not easy. It will be little scary, because you don't have anyone else there, and it's all forest and very narrow trails. So yeah, if you want to get down, if you don't want to continue the trek, I would suggest go down back directly from Chika. Don't go to Baluka Ghera, because once you reach Baluka Ghera, it's at such an altitude, and coming back from there is really difficult. Instead of that, you can just complete the trek and go from the last campsite to your home. So and also there are no directions written anywhere or anything, so you have to figure out all the directions on your own. And and everything there looks the same, so it's really difficult to navigate on your own. So why we reached Baluka Ghera, and I couldn't actually see the stars or the stretch of Milky Way, because it was always cloudy, and in Baluka Ghera it had rained a lot. So we reached there again, we had dinner, and Then again next day morning we woke up early because it was the summit day. And it was a summit day, and I was just so like tensed. How will I do it? Because the second day itself was so difficult for me. I was like, how will I cover 8 kilometers today, and that too it is the peak. So I was like, okay, let's do it because I can't go back now. Somehow I have to complete it. So I fully concentrated, and I was like, okay, no looking here and there, you just have to complete it. That was my only goal. So I just got ready and we started the trek. In the beginning, it was all like plain lands, and there is full barren land kind of thing, wet pastures here and there, the river. But it was so beautiful. And the thing in Hamta Pass trek is, in each of the campsite, you will see different kind of views. That is the beauty of this place. So in Baluka Ghera, there were mostly plain lands and flowers, lot of flowers. And when we started from Baluka Ghera to the summit, we got a snow patch over there. And again there was a lot of rocks. You have to climb a lot of rocks. It's the peak. And the inclination is also almost about 60 to 70 degrees sometimes. There were a few places like at the very last 200 or uh, 500 meter, where there was almost like 80-degree climb. So it's not a straight climb, it's again the rocks that you have to climb on, and they are huge rocks. So yeah, that is the thing. But somehow I reached the peak. But when it was almost, I was very close, okay, like 100 meters to the peak, there I started getting breathing issues. Not exactly like breathing issues, my mind and my eyes were becoming blur. So I and also I got very hungry. I was asking the guide if I can eat something. He's like, no, you will complete it and then you can have food. But I was feeling hungry, and also the breath was a little short for me. But I didn't have major breathing issues there. But I feel like my mind and my eyes started getting blurred. Like I was like doing like this, and I was not able to see anything properly. Okay, so then I was also wearing cap, woolen cap, and everything. So like I had covered my ears because it was cold. Then the guy just removed my cap so that the air is entering from my ears as well. So that's what I did, and then I couldn't do it actually. I just stood there, and behind me I can't stop in between the trail because behind me there are other trekkers, and the slope and inclination is so much that every bit of that is harmful. Like it's dangerous. If something slips, or one rock also slips, it can just roll down and fall on anyone. Anyone can slip from there, and it's just not a good place to be there. So I can't stop at any place there because people are behind me. So I was just keep on going. Then I just sat at one of the rock because I was not able to concentrate. I'm not able to see anything. Okay. And I was running a little bit out of breath. So my guide just held my hand literally, and he took me, and it was just only 50 meters left. That is where I got this. But then I reached the peak, the summit, and it was so good. Oh my god. But the thing is, when we reached the peak, we couldn't see anything from there because it was all mist and fog there. But that a feeling of accomplishment was amazing. It was 14,100 feet, and after I reached there, I didn't feel any breathing issues or anything. Maybe I was exhausted and I was hungry, because of which I felt like that. But it was really a good experience, and the feeling of accomplishment. Then I just made that stone wala, that keeping stones one on top of other. I'll just put in some photos here. So it was really good, and our trek had almost like 20 people something, and only two girls were there. So yeah, it was really an amazing thing. From there we had to again get down, and we couldn't wait there for a long time again because we wanted to avoid the rains at any cost, because it would get so slippery. And wearing the poncho, and then holding the poncho, holding the pole, holding your bag, it becomes too dangerous and very like complex. So we started getting down. again is very steep, and you'll feel your knees, the pain in your knees and your toes will really hurt. But for me, getting down was more easy than climbing. I felt climbing more hard, and I was like exhausted more while climbing than while getting down. Getting down was quite good for me. There was pain obviously in the knees and toes, but climbing down part was good. And when we climbed down a little and we had a lunch there, sitting watching the Mount Indrasan, and we had this we had again valley, and there were sheeps coming in there, and it was really a good sight. I'll just insert some pictures. So it was really good, and I'm saying like every sight in this trek is just so amazing to see. I mean, it's just so beautiful. Then we climbed down, we went to the third campsite, which was the most beautiful campsite for me, at least. And everyone else also said like it was the most beautiful. It was Shiagoru campsite. So our camps were just placed beside the river that was flowing, and it was so good. So we went there and we got Maggie that day for lunch, and we had a dinner, and yeah, that was good. And I just read some books. So by this point my phone had completely switched off. I was completely out of battery, and also my power bank charge. So yeah, I just read books, and it was really a good experience. Then again, from Shiaguru we had to go to Chatru. So Chatru was our last campsite. So again, we got up early in the morning. Then we had to cross a giant river in Shiaguru, the river that was just beside our camp. So we had to cross that river. Before this, also we had crossed the rivers, but it was very small. So this was the big river, and the water was chilling. You can't feel your legs after you cross the river. So we just made the human chain, we crossed the river, and the water was just so cold. Guide had told us that once you reach the other side after the crossing, you have to not stay in one place, you have to jump or run, just make rapid movements so that the blood circulation increases in your legs. So we did that, and again we put on our shoes and we started the trek. And it was not steep or something, but the trails were very narrow. So yeah, I was feeling little bit of motion sickness over there because the river was flowing just beside our trail, and it was very steep from our trail. From our track to there was a mountain fully sliding down, and there was a river. So the river is flowing like this, and when you look at the river, I was getting little bit of like motion sickness kind of thing. So I avoided watching the river, but still I happened to fall like this two times there. So very close moment over there. So but yeah, we went and we reached Chatru, and finally the trek was over, and it was just so amazing. Oh my god, it was just so amazing. From Chatru, they had planned to visit Chandratal, so from there they had a vehicle jeep and a tempo traveler. That trail we went through Spiti Valley, and it was just amazing again. The Spiti Valley and the off roads there. We went to Chandratal, visited Chandratal, and again it was just a beautiful place. So clear, crystal clear water, and just a very good feel when you go to those places. Then we came back to our first place where we went. So that we went along Rotang Pass, Solang Valley. That route we took, and we reached there. That is how the trek ended. Coming to the most important part, what you should carry. From I told you the experience and places before, because I wanted you to know how it affects. Okay, so now the essential things that you need to carry, and don't carry a lot of things. Okay, as girls we tend to take so many of dresses, tops, jeans, whatever we want, just to take photos, and it is a normal thing. I also took it and I regretted it so bad. that then if you can't carry it forward, you have to send it back from the horses, and each luggage bag would cost about 1,000 rupees to take it back to the campsite. So avoid carrying a lot of things. What I would suggest is carry thermals. Carry thermals, maybe carry one thermal is enough, like one t-shirt, one pant, and carry two dry fit t-shirts which are very lightweight, and also dry fit pants which are again very lightweight. Two is enough. You can carry socks, two pair of socks. Carry one pair of normal chappal, like sandals kind of thing, so that you can use it later. It's optional, but it's good if you can carry very lightweight slippers. Shoes, if you have them, great. If you don't have, take it from them only, but trekking shoes are very important. That is what will give you the grip while throughout the trek, otherwise you won't be able to do the trek at all. Carry a lunch box with you, and if possible you can carry a thermos flask as well, because the water is very cold, and at the campsite they will give you hot water. Most important thing is carry some medicines like painkillers or motion sickness, or that you feel you need. Keep a set of medicines, and if you are into like zandu balm or something, you can carry it as well. Take a jacket, as in don't take a very thick jacket, because again you have, the whole point is you don't have to carry a lot of weight. Okay, so carry a jacket that will keep you warm, and other than that you don't need any warmth. This thing, socks are there, you'll have your jacket, and you'll have bean bags in the campsite, so that will generally keep you warm, and the tents that are put are also like warm enough. So you can carry a beanie or ear cap, something, so that is good enough. This was all about my experience about the Hamta Pass trek, and if you're going, just know that you should have physical fitness for it. It's not easy trek. If you are experiencing for the first time, make sure you keep your mind prepared for it. And if you have any other questions to ask, just put it down in the comments and I'll make sure to reply to them. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.